Okay, what I got here is the key switch off my 04 Impala. Yeah, it's the in-dash switch that gives so much problem when the key locking up, not wanting to turn. And what I've done here is watching another video. I've seen a template that's stuck over where you can drill into this slot where the bar comes up out of the cylinder, and I'll show that in a minute. What I'm going to show you is modification to do to these to stop the key from binding, especially as it ages, to where I won't be doing that anymore. It's pretty simple. Of course, occasionally it'll get stuck a little bit. Anyway, it'll stop it from locking up on you, and it shouldn't hurt your security system because it hasn't affected mine. So I'm going to show you how to take this out. If you see right here, this little keeper goes in the back. You'll have to take something and depress it before you can pull this out, and then you have to turn this all the way. And when it comes out, you'll see this right here. You want to keep your thumb on it, or a finger, because it's got all the little things that makes the key work in there. So you keep your finger on that. Now what I'm going to show you is this bar. This bar pops up into this slot when you pull your key out, and keeps the key from turning. It's part of what makes the lock. Okay, so when you stick your key in there, that thing is able to pull down and then rotate clockwise. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to take your file and just file the edge of this bar off. Just file it, and you can see I just rough filed it here. Just file this leading edge down because it turns clockwise, so that when it goes to turn, it automatically presses the bar down, instead of this key, sticking the key in and letting it drop down. When that quits working, then you can't turn the lock anymore, and it does on all of them. So you just file the leading edge off till it follows the curvature of the barrel here, and then it don't do that anymore. So let's stick it back in there. Alright, and you can hear it. Take your key out, it doesn't prevent it from turning. I mean, it doesn't, it'll still stop it from turning until you put your key in. So it doesn't get rid of it completely, just enough so it no longer binds. And of course, before you put this back in the car, you need to put this spring-loaded, put that spring-loaded keeper back in there. So the spring's so small I can't hardly get a hold of it with my fingers. Anyway, spring drops in. This thing's keyed. You only go in one way, so you put that in there, and then you line up this here and put it in, and then it won't come out. And that has to be there because when you stick your key in, this is part of the security system too. You push the button on the back of the actual switch. When you pull the key out, that actually drops back. When you stick your key in there, it pushes that forward, so that keeper has to be there so this can't move. Alright, and you can see it works just fine. So now I'm going to reinstall it in the car. There's a little cap that goes over this. You want to take that off. I used a grinder to grind that after watching carefully the video, and I'll put a link in the description. This thing actually sits like this in the switch. So Anyway, I'll go put it back in the car and we'll have a look at that. Okay. When you put your switch back in, you'll probably want to disable this lockout when you turn the key on, or when you put it in gear. You can't turn the key off until you put it in park. Okay, and this one was broke because this thing was binding a little, and it had broke the part. Let me find it. The part that holds the cable on this key switch broke. So what I did so that this interlock functions is I put a spring on there in place of the one that was on this cable. Okay, so that once in park, it won't come out unless you push the button. So you'll want to do something similar. That's a carburetor spring. That's probably a little more than it really needs. And I was having this little piece broke off that the snap clips onto, which you could have just put around that had I not broke it. But it's fine. It'll just hook behind there, and it works. It works just fine. And that fixes your safety lock for your shifter. Alright, I'll be back in a minute and show you more about the key switch. Alright, here's the lock back in the mechanism. There's the little pin that keeps this from coming out. You have to depress it before it'll come out. To do that, you have to turn the key, I believe. Now this is where your plug-in is for the security system. And that clip will have to be put on, and then the lock slid in. I just had it off so I could pull it out of here. So anyway, now you can see this is how it sits in the dash. Okay, so all I need to do now is bolt this back in, of course plug it back in. That safety interlock cable that I showed you a minute ago, it plugs in there. You can see that little white thing in there. That's what keeps it from pulling when you push the button. Has the spring that pulls that interlock back. So without that, you need all you need to do is leave that out and put the spring in I just showed you, and that'll make your safety lock work. Now that won't keep this key from turning off if it's in drive anymore, but that's a non-issue. It's really a non-issue. So the main issue is the darn thing wouldn't turn on because it gets wore out. Now that's fixed, and I don't have to buy nothing new. My security system still works like it did, or they call it a security system. It's more like a problem system, because that's what it really does. It causes problems. So I'm gonna bolt this back in, put the security plug on, and reinsert this so it all fits right, because this has to plug in. This has to plug in to the plug. So I got to put it back in, pull this out, and plug that back in, and then it'll be ready. All right, I'll be back. Okay, I've just stuck the dash panel back up here. Now, if you're hack and slash like me, you're probably gonna lose your cover. Now, if you do a little better job of drilling in the right spot based on the video that'll be in the description, then you'll be able to put the little ring back on. The way I've trimmed it, it don't fit, but that's the price. That's fine. I don't have a problem. It doesn't cause a problem. It doesn't, look good, but it doesn't matter on this car. I use it as a truck and a tank and a, whatever. But anyway, there we go. Let's see if it works. Key in. And every other light on this thing is on, but the security light's not. So, not really worried about the other stuff. Turn the blinker off. There are no security system problems at all. So, and we can go in gear. No problem. Lock works. And if you think that you can turn this without the key, not happening. So that part of it still works. All it does is get rid of the problem where the key won't turn anymore. Come on, old girl. Anyway, no problems. Now, I'm not telling anybody to do this mod because I don't want to be responsible for your key and all that stuff. So, but this works for me. It should work on Malibu and Monte Carlo and Impala, and probably a couple others that I'm not even thinking of. So that's about it. I'm gonna put all my panels back on and vacuum it out again and clean all the junk up. So if you mod this, you're probably gonna want to put this spring on here if you're getting rid of your interlock. So there you go. And I want to really thank the guy in the video that showed the template on how to drill it and how to get to it, because his video helped better than anything else I've seen. Anyway, have a good one. Thanks for watching.